Okay, boys and girls, we got something new today. Anyways, short video how to troubleshoot electrical system. But like always, let's get started with some music. What about some Rush? Yeah, Rush, of course. Yeah, here we go. Let's get some music going, guys. All right, here we go. Let's make sure that's working. Get some volume on there. There we go. Yeah. Alrighty. So let's get back to this. 2003 Ford Thunderbird starts when it wants to. It starts when it doesn't want to start. Okay. So, first thing we should do with this car is basically check the battery. You know, it could have bad ground. You know, battery could be bad, but I've checked all that. Cleaned out the posts, cleaned out the ground wires. It had a bad connection here. It was kind of rusty, just dirty basically, but got all that fixed. I actually ran another ground wire because it seems to me like it's not enough ground for the whole car. Just the way Ford did it, you know, one little wire for ground for the whole car doesn't seem appropriate for me. But hey, I'm not the engineer. I didn't build this car. So the problem with the car is it won't start. So let's go inside the car. Let's get the key. And this is what it does or doesn't do. Turn the key on. Nothing. Right? I'm trying to start it. You know, it's trying to cycle through the starting system, but it's not doing anything. So here's what we're at. The owner bought a switch, and where's my switch? Oh, it's over here, top of my toolbox. So this is the switch. It's just I don't know that I want to replace it just yet. He thinks it's a switch, so I'm not gonna go with this just yet. You got to troubleshoot before you decide to start buying parts. In this case, it could be anything. It could be the battery. It could be the alternator not charging enough. The starter could be bad. It could be anything. But I tend to go with the smaller things first. Usually, in most cases, it's the small stuff. It's the small stuff, not the big stuff. Don't think about alternators and starters and ignition keys and reprogramming, all this stuff. No. Okay. First thing to do is clean the battery, get a good connection going. I kind of thought it had a bad ground because it has the symptoms of a bad ground, and I know the car has to be grounded, you know, but I added an extra ground wire. It's kind of hidden, you know, but it seems like this car doesn't have enough grounds. It's got electrical wiring, you know, power wires everywhere, but hardly any grounds, which is kind of strange. Anyways, the flow of electricity seems to be a little low. So I've checked all that. I've checked the starter. I've checked the alternator. I've checked all that stuff. I'm coming down to this conclusion that it's got to have a bad solenoid, you know, the starter. But I've gone under the car, checked that. It wasn't that. Check the ignition, and come to find out, here's the relay, right? This is the relay for this particular car. It's number 15. I'm gonna make this really simple. I mean, there's a lot of videos, actually not so many videos on this particular car, but on how to repair this problem. But the easiest thing to do is here. Let me pull this guy out. Okay, here's the old relay, so bi-prong. First thing you want to make sure is that it's got power. So let's see here. It does. Okay, there's power here, so that's telling me that there's power coming into the relay. The relay, all it is a, you know, it's for high amperage. It's for when it uses a lot of electricity, you know, so it uses a relay system to start the starter motor, just the way they do these modern cars. Next thing I would do to make sure, because I mean this relay, I mean I've checked it already. I took it out, and there's various ways to checking this guy. You know, I've got a battery here. You know, I could check it by, you know, connecting these wires, and you know I could check this. You know, there's videos on how to do this, but I'm not going to go through that. It takes too long. Or you can get a voltmeter, even a simple voltmeter is this, and you could check that relay to see if it's good. But the easiest way to check, I mean, it can get very complicated. So I got power, you know, from the old relay. Next thing that I do, and it's the easiest thing without making it so difficult, because you could watch videos on this and it just seems so difficult to figure out these problems. But in some cases, they're really simple. Here, let me get a flashlight so I can show you what to do next. Real simple. Here's my flashlight. So, this is what I would do next. Okay, so here's where the relay goes. Okay, so what I would do is I would probably switch it over to here on the right hand prong. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, see, that's on the right hand prong. The reason I want to do that is because when you turn your key on, power from the battery goes to ignition. From ignition through the harness, it goes through here. So if I turn the ignition switch on, here, let me see if I could do this and show you guys what you can do. So now the car won't start because there's no relay. But if I turn the key here, see, I'll show you, turn the key. See, the car's not starting, right? But look outside. See if you see my test lamp. See that? I'm turning it right now. I'm turning the ignition key on to the on position. You see the light outside? It takes two people to do this, but I can do it. See the light comes on? Okay, what that's telling me is we're getting power from the battery through the fuse boxes. And keep in mind, there's 3 fuse boxes on this car. There's one here, okay? There's one there. There is another fuse box inside the car. And you could check your owner's manual to check your car. But see, I've already taken this apart, and there's a fuse box there on the passenger side of the vehicle. You need to remove the seal plate, the kick panel, and you have access to it. It pops right out. It's really simple. So if you saw what I just did, I was turning on the ignition to the start position. I was turning it on, and this light comes on. So it's telling me that the ignition switch is sending power to the fuse box. So here's one way of checking this. Here's one way of checking it. The easiest way to check it. So let me turn the ignition off. For now, I'm going to turn the ignition off. But I can bypass. The relay. Okay? The easiest way to do that would be here. From the power, see the power is coming on? Okay? It's not really good lighting, but you can go to let's see here. You go from the power source, right? The light's on there, to the one up there on the top. Okay? I'm not sure if you could see this. See, it doesn't do anything right now because we're gonna jump it. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump it. I wish I had better lighting here. I should have done that, a better lighting. But we're gonna jump it from here, from this one to the top one. And if by any chance the engine spins It's not going to start, keep in mind, because the ignition's off. But if the engine spins, that's telling me that the starter is functioning. So let's see if we could just jump it real quick. Oh, there it is. The car is starting. Well, it wants to start. It won't start because the key is off. Okay, let's do this. Let's turn on the ignition. Okay, so let's turn on the ignition back on. See? Okay, there it is. Ignition's back on. Okay, since the ignition's on and we're bypassing the relay, we're bypassing it. It's not in here. Okay, I bet you $1 million it'll start now, just by jump starting it. Let's try it. There it is. Car started. Okay? So the easiest way to do this, the fastest, quickest, easiest way to determine what's wrong with your car is bypass the relay. Okay, so now it starts. All right? Let me turn this off. Okay, it's off. Car's off. It will not start again. Let me try again. It won't start. I'm sure it won't start. Nothing, right? It's not going to start because there is no a relay. But I went ahead and bought a new one. Here's a new relay. Okay. AutoZone, part number 19273. Okay. They didn't have the actual relay for this actual car. They don't carry it. But this relay is a universal one that would work for mini cars. Okay? Let me show you the part number again. Hopefully you can see it. You see it? Okay. It's a 5-prong. Keep that in mind, 5-prong. So just insert it back where it belongs. Let's see here. It only has one way it goes. So it goes like that. Just push it in slightly. Okay. So let's see if it starts. It didn't start with the old relay. So if the problem is the relay, the car should start now. Let's give it a shot. There it is. Car runs now. So, in a nutshell, see, car runs now. In a nutshell, all that was wrong with the car was a bad relay. Okay, that's all that was wrong with it. So, check the relay. This other fuse here, this one is for the fuel pump relay, which turns this on as well. So, but that's fine. This one would work. If this didn't work, that wouldn't work. So it's working. So we won't go to that. But there it is. Car won't start. Problem starts now. All right, guys. I don't know if this video helps. If it does, let me know in the comments. Hopefully it'll help. So I avoided having to remove the ignition switch, which the owner bought. And there's one reason I didn't want to change it either, because this thing has a chip that works and it sends a signal to this little box here. And I'm not sure if it would be compatible to the car, because from here it goes into the OBD system, which is the computer to the car. It hooks up right there for the computer. So I don't know that I wanted to get into the computer and changing codes and stuff like that. So don't go there. Okay, so all right, guys. Again, El Hot Rodder signing off. God bless. Check out my videos; they're all cool. All right. Thank you. Have a good night.